Immigrant is called Laszlo Spunk. He came to America on the ship Pannonia. He immigrated from Izhnyeri, Ukraine, and he was 46 years old when he immigrated in 1905. He was part of the first wave of immigrants from Ukraine to move to America, and at that time, over 350,000 of them were moving to America because of advertisements which promised they would be able to make more money over here and have a better life. The process of traveling to America would not be easy, as the ships would be very crowded and unsanitary. On top of that, many traveled in harsh conditions in fear of being set back as well. So that not only they were traveling in harsh conditions with no space to sleep and no sanitation, but many people who reached Ellis Island were often sent back. Laszlo Spunk had family, but he left them behind when he moved to America, as did most Ukrainian immigrants. Laszlo did not just move to America for money, but also because at the time Ukraine was in a very turbulent time period, and their neighbors, the Russians, were going through some very tough times. So he also moved to America for a more peaceful life. Mr. Spunk worked in the factories along with his fellow Ukrainian American co-workers. He immigrated to Pennsylvania because he tried to find some sense of community which he left behind in Ukraine. And the reason he moved to Pennsylvania is because Pennsylvania had the largest population of Ukrainian American immigrants. He had some challenges with sanitation because he had nothing when he came to America, and he earned very little. So he resorted to living in very small spaces. It was similar to his ship conditions, basically. So they were plagued with famine and infections and diseases. Mr. Spunk also tried to spend as little money as possible because he, with a large amount of other individuals, were trying to spend as little money as possible so that they could bring the rest of their families over. So Laszlo did receive much support from other Ukrainian American immigrants because they also understood what he was going through at the time, because they themselves were going through the same thing. I admire the struggle that they went through to have a better life, and on top of that, they didn't know that when they were coming to America, if they were going to have a better life. They just worked as hard as possible for the chance to maybe have a better life than what they had before when they came in. Having to travel in hard conditions, working really hard in also bad conditions, and living in horrible conditions, all just for one chance to have a better life for them and their families. Questions that I have is, how much money did they spend on food and essentials? So what was their budget? And how many of them actually got to see their families again? So how many people earned enough money to bring their families over to America?